All right, we're live on today. So, yes, good evening, guys. Welcome to our live session this evening. To start with, we would like to go into the chat because there's not much of an introduction, to be honest. We can just jump onto the chat. First of all, some things have happened over the weekend. Like we said in our last session, there are growing geopolitical tensions, between countries, Iran and I think Israel. I think pretty much wait at it. Of course, these things to a great extent affect the market, and for now, it might be the theme of the market. But yeah, that's by the way. We'll just jump onto the chat and see how the market in general is reacting to what has been happening, at least between Thursday and today. So I'll share my screen now. Let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Of course. Okay. All right, that's good. So, yeah, starting with JPYs, what do we have? First off, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. These two currencies are pretty much gaining some strength, and that's interesting. But yeah, one thing to notice here is how the JPYs are now shifting back into the overall uptrend. And this was something I pointed out to a while ago, stating that it's likely that we'll see things like this happen. So, for example, we now have Asia. We had the breakout of this zone, and now price came back to test that support, and now we're bouncing up with it. Very interesting to see. Do I expect this to continue? Of course, I do. Even though it's not a guarantee, but I expect long-term continuations, upside continuations on most of the GPYs, if not all the GPYs. So let's see if this break and retest will hold for further upside continuations on ADGPY. All right, guys. Sorry about that. So CAT GPY is breaking out, which is very interesting. We had mentioned this a while ago that we would expect a bullish breakout, and today, being Monday, we're having the breakout. It's not, of course, it's not the end. We need price to break out and close above the key level by the end of this month. But let's see how this happens. Of course, if we have the successful breakout, then I become interested in retest because I would love to go long on CAT GPY. The take profit or the next key level is so far out, so it will take a while to put. Of course, it represents so much gains. We're looking at almost 1,200 pips from 106 to 118. That's out. CHF GPY is also breaking out, which is very interesting. Let's see. Yeah. So we kind of broke out on Thursday, and we highlighted the importance of patience and how, despite the fact that we tried once, twice, and 3 times, we finally had the breakout. And also very importantly to understand is that price had not broken out of this zone since like October 2024. So breakout here, even though it's not a guarantee that it should play out, but of course it puts us ahead in the line of things because we're bullish and looking for buys. So if we scale up to the weekly time frame, just to see how the breakout is looking. Exactly, there we have it. So we closed here above the key level or above this level on Friday, and then this week is already starting out to be bullish. So if we take this out, it would not be out of place, and I think the next high to watch out for would be this. And yeah, see how this goes. So yeah, progress. CHF GPY remains the oldest trade in my portfolio. But yeah, patience would pretty much pay us on this. I think I don't have positive swaps for this CJ. Let me check. Yes, actually. Positive swaps for holding CHF. That's interesting. But yeah, either ways, we'll see how this continues to play out. We have breakout highs, and that puts us even ahead or take profit. I think I'm looking at 189, just around this region. To be honest, we'll see how this plays out. What else? EJ has also broken out. Yeah, this is a clear breakout. Of course, we need this breakout to stay above key level by the end of the month. But so far, we're having a very solid breakout. Now, if this is the case, I would expect a pullback and of course a retest to take longs on Euro JPY. So I have my cut JPY and also have my eyes on Euro JPY to add longs to these guys. Pound JPY is also doing very well. Is in fact trying to make new highs this week, so we'll see if that's set. We had some sort of breakdown retest on the daily time frame towards the end of last week. Yeah, something of this sort. A break and a retest, which is now kind of playing out already. So yeah, I think JPY is the momentum is here, is most likely here to stay, and is, in my opinion, set to continue. Of course, until something drastic changes. Now, some might wonder why the Chinese yen or the US dollar are not acting as safe havens right now. And yes, I think conditions are pretty much different as we speak. And then these things are just starting out, so we'll see. Even gold, I think we'll come to gold in a bit, but even gold is not bullish as we'd expect, considering what is happening. But yeah, we'll see how these conditions unfold in the next few days or weeks. And then the JPY. Same thing with AJ as well. Let's see. Yes. So we had a breakout, a pullback, and now we're moving to the upside. So exactly how the arrows pointed out, either price would reject the levels to the downside or break out and give us a retest. And that's exactly what is happening right now. So we'll see if NJ will play out or is going to play out just like AJPY setting up to as well. USJPY seems to be the only lagging pair amongst the JPYs, mainly because of the sluggish nature of the dollar as we speak. Dollar is pretty weak, and we can see it reflect on USJPY. Even though USJPY is weak or weaker than the US dollar, that is pretty much why we've not seen maybe a rally to the upside. But yeah, rally is around the corner. A rally will come sooner or later. So let's see. Stay patient and see how much time we have. AD card is, I think, pulling back. Let's see. But yeah, nothing too crazy if we're being honest, right? Nothing too crazy. I overall expect downside continuations. And yeah, see plays out. Euro card is in profit. Let's see. Yes, Euro card is in profit, but pulled back slightly on Friday. And just like Yusuf said, I think he's waiting to see if we'll have an even greater pullback, just so that he can find an entry to get long. And maybe that will happen. Hopefully that this happens, so that most of us who couldn't get involved here can as well look for entries around this region. But of course, I expect overall upside continuations on Euro card. Pound card is kind of lagging. For being honest. Yeah, so we came to this weekly level of resistance, and indeed, price found resistance at this zone. I was expecting a breakout. In fact, it tried to break out but failed and closed right below the previous high. And it's kind of coming in double top at the moment. This only means that if this trend is going to continue, it will slow down for a while before again resuming with momentum. So I'm not sure if this is going to pull back to this level or whatnot. I'm not sure yet. But hopefully we might get a breakout. Hopefully. One of the reasons why I'll have to stay patient with pound card is the exact same reason why I have to stay patient with CHF So these things happen. Price can stall at a particular level for quite some time before eventually breaking out. It happens. So it's not a guarantee it will play out or stop out. But of course, let's allow the market be the market, right? Let's not stress pound card. We have too many positions to worry about for us to just stress ourselves on pound card. Entity card is also pulling back. Yeah, also pulling back. I think we're currently here at the moment. If we pull back to the entry, I'm not sure. Are we going to do that? I'm not sure yet. But either ways, I'm expecting more downside continuation from entity card. Yeah, they're still open. The guy is just pretty slow at the moment. And in fact, since the third week of April, we've pretty much been around the same price, right? So that tells you that this is simply a sideways market. In other words, a breakout around the corner, is it to the upside or to the downside? I'm not sure yet. But then time will pretty much explain that to us. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. USD card is also pulling back, of course, for obvious reasons. The US dollar is weak, and that is reflected on this guy. Like I said before, overall, I'm expecting bullish continuation. So we might come down here and find support. That is very likely. If that happens, then maybe this might be the catalyst to continue the uptrend. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. But for now, I'm not really long or short on this kind of sideways. Just on the sidelines, at least until the setup is clear. So Euro AUD, there's nothing for me, to be honest. Euro NZD, same thing here. I think these guys have not presented the best opportunities to buy or sell. Pound AUD, same thing. Although I am expecting, I'm hoping to see price will come down to this key level for me to get long. So far, it hasn't happened. So we'll see. Just still the sidelines of the setup. Pound NZD, however, is back in drawdown. So we closed last week, closed pretty bullish. We had a retest of the level, and then we closed pretty bullish. But now this week is starting out bearish. So we can see there's this back and forth with the New Zealand dollar. It's been happening for a few weeks, and I think it might continue to happen. But yeah, I'm still long, right? I'm still long. Nothing has changed, to be honest. As long as we stay above the key level, the idea is still strong, at least until we break and then close below key level. Maybe stops out or something. And of course, even though it stops out, it doesn't mean generally that the idea is wrong, because like we've explained several times, price can stop out, break out a second time, and give us another opportunity to buy. So of course, we always have to keep an open mind when we have running trades, that even though some of these trades may stop out, it doesn't necessarily mean that there will not be another opportunity to get long or get short. So AUD. So last week we kind of closed right there at the key level, at the resistance level, and this week it starts to push bullish. So I'm not also giving a guarantee that we're breaking out, because we didn't give that last week, as we saw how price closed. So if we break out here, then of course we're going back to key level, but nothing is certain. We actually allow the week to end. We also say that, okay, this is a successful breakout. But if it does, if this breakout is true, then I would love price to come back here so that I can get another opportunity to sell. Like I explained before, most of us who were here a while ago remember the sell from here. A break retest, sold all the way to the downside, took profits in April, and now I'm waiting for another opportunity to sell right at the key level. So if that happens, that would be beautiful. What else? EU is in profit and still making progress, like fine progress. I expect this guy to at least complete the move to the next key level, which stands at 1.180, and before it reverses out to the downside. I expect the dollar to strengthen at some point, but it is clear that right now the dollar is still very much weak, and we can't do much about it, right? Instead of take advantage of the situation. So I'm long, and I stay long, and we'll see how long we have to wait for this guy to fail. Pound USD, but the breakout, I'm expecting a pullback, a retest to go long, and so far that hasn't happened. So we'll see. If it does happen, of course, I'll look for buys. So NU and AU are pretty much the same thing. So we're also trying to break out here, but it hasn't successfully closed above the key level. So we have to wait for this week to end for us to be sure, at least to a great extent, that this is a successful breakout. If it is, then of course I would want price to go back to the key level so that I can find an opportunity to get short. Yeah, and that's about it. And then for the Swiss franc pairs, nothing interesting in my opinion. At least until we come down to USDC chart. So yeah, I'm short on USDC chart. We had this break and retest. I'm expecting more downside, considering that the dollar is still weak, at least for like a new low, at least. So we'll see. Is this a guarantee? Of course not, because it is possible for the dollar to pick up strength here, form a double bottom here, and then just reverse it the upside. That can still happen. But yeah, we'll see. We can't answer these questions until enough time has passed. So this is kind of like a rundown I have for currency pairs. So do you guys have any questions here? If not, then I think we can move over to futures, indices, metal. So if you have a question, please go ahead and ask. All right. So without any questions, I think we can move over to yeah, indices. So the S&P, interestingly, this guy is back at like the pre all-time highs, and so we're kind of here now, and is this going to break out, or is this going to form like what, a triple top and then turn around to the downside? We are not sure, and only time can answer the question. But yeah, I'm still long. I'm not ready to close. If I do have a reason to close, find a reason to close, I would let you guys know. But of course, so far I'm still holding my longs and see if we can push to make new highs for the year. So we're back. I think these highs came up in January and February. So this is like the high of 2025. The question is, will the market be so excited to print new highs for 2025? Find out if that's the case. So, but anyways, I'm still long on the S&P 500. I'm also long on France 40. Yeah, just hold on. Yes, so long on the S&P, long on this guy, and as well on the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq is also at like all-time highs. Correct? Yes, we're back at all-time highs, and are we going to find resistance, or I will see breakout? Now, of course, price is at a crucial point and at like a turning point in our portfolio. If price would find resistance around these regions and pull them, of course, it will mean that our portfolio will see a little bit of a pullback. And it is important to see these things and speak on it because it gets you prepared. Okay, we're doing what we're amazing at the moment. Okay, but it doesn't change the fact that it is possible for price to pull back. It can't happen, and you don't want to get too excited when you hit a new high, because after a new high usually comes a correction. So we're still doing really well, up to 15 hours, just insane, right? And we're up like what? I think we're up like 16% this year. So either way, like I said, we're doing fine. But it is good to understand that we can have a pullback in the running trades in the equity in our portfolio. So it's good to mention it, and it's good to stay afloat. And just in case you see it, and just in case it happens, you're not shaken by what is going on. Okay, so just a heads up. I don't have any other open trades on indices. I was hoping to get an entry on the Russell US 30. What else? Australian 200, but like these guys have not really set up, so can't do much about it. Moving on to gold. So for gold, interestingly, we also had, this was like the first weekly close last week above the highs, right? So prices, of course, has gotten to this point. So it's not like an all-time high per se, but it is the first time we had like a weekly candle close above the previous candle. So that's like an indication of a serious push. But of course, this week is starting out bearish. So we'll see if that stays the same, or if this would be like, if this will turn into like a bullish week for upside continuations. If we come down to the daily time frame, the level, the resistance level is still level clearly. So the question we're asking, we asked, especially on Friday, was, is this going to be like a triple top, 1, 2, and maybe the third top, or is price going to clearly break out of the key level and then go on to create even new highs in this 2025? Of course, the last time price gave us a high was in April. So just 2 months later, it looks like we might get even higher highs. So we'll find out, right? We're not sure about this yet, but we'll find out if this happens. I still don't have any entries on gold. I've not been able to pick an entry because I've not found any. But let's see. I have my eyes set up on gold, and if I have an opportunity to get long, of course I'll take it. But so far, we've not really had that, or I've not really had that based on the system I trade. Moving on to copper, I'm also long on copper, so it's also in profit. Like I said before, the only trade that is in drawdown is pound NZD. Every other trade is either well in profit or just in profit. So copper is one of them, and I stay long. As long as price stays above the key level and maintains the key level of support, then I'm good to go. Also, copper has a very good reward of up like 4.5 reward on the risk, which is insane and beautiful as well. So we'll see if it plays out. Moving on to palladium. Let's see. Yes, so palladium is also doing well in profit. There's not much to see, right? I'm just holding the trade and see where it takes us. It also has a huge potential because, like I said, I'm looking at the 1 to 10.71, almost like 11 hour on trade. So it will take a while, of course, and it will take a great deal of patience. So it will teach us to stay patient with our trade, and I think that's something that we all need. That training is very important. And then platinum. I already took profits on this guy, so I can't really say much. So yeah, I asked the question on Thursday, but some of us were not here, so I think I might just show the person again. Any other person here who bought platinum? I think some persons highlighted that on Thursday, but I think some of us were not here. So who else went long on platinum and took profits on platinum? Anybody else? Okay, so yeah, pretty much just two here on Thursday that were long on platinum as well. That's fine. That's okay. But like we said, it was a fantastic trade, and yeah, it's gone. Right. We just move on to other trades that are setting up, which brings us to silver. So silver has broken out, and even though the month has not ended, but this is so far a good step. If price stays above the key level this month, then of course I would love to see a retest and then love to get more silver. So we'll see if this sets up. So this is the much I have for us today. The run out of the pairs I'm expecting, the trades I have running. I think I was able to share part of my portfolio to some of us here on Thursday. I might just do that yet again, some of us who are not here. So just see how, just like to see the update. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see the other part of my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, Casey, of course, we can see your screen.
Yeah, Casey, of course, we can see. All right. So just making sure.
Though it's actually
Just making
censored.
sure. So for some of us, I didn't hear you. Come again, please.
Seems like you kind of like made it lost.
Oh yes, but at least we can see the screen. So let me come down to this year's return. Yes, so let's come down to this year's return, and with platinum playing out, it brings us to 16.4 hour this year, which is good. And like I explained, we've closed our 10 trades, and we have 6 wins and 4 losses this year, which is fantastic in terms of the win rate. Like I said before, I am looking at getting this win rate to like maybe 80-85%. That's like my goal for the system. And I think we're getting there. Of course, we have running trades. If I close this running trades now, then the win rate surely goes up. But of course, I'm not looking to do that. I want to see the trades play out and see how it affects the win rate. But yes, so far so good. Also, if you look at like the stats, yeah, if you look at the stats, win rate is at 60% just for the year, and you can see the win streak, the losing streak, and then this is what I was trying to explain to some of us about um, losing streaks and how much confidence it gives you. So some persons might ask me, "How are you so confident to hold 10 open trades? Are you not scared that you might lose all your trades? Is it possible that to happen? It is, but what is the likely chance that it can? The win streak is very low, right? And this is where my confidence comes from. I'm not doing it because I think it's a better option. I'm doing it because the stats show it's a better option, right? I can hold as many trades as I want because I know that I don't lose too many trades. I lose 6, 7 trades in a day unless the market is like basically broken, right? So this is again where the confidence comes from. This is what gives me confidence to speak on systems and how important it is for you to know your system. If I would take this back to October when the some of the effect of the system came in. So from here, from October 1st, it brings the win rate down to 56%. But of course, like I said, I'm looking to get this to somewhere around 80%, right? I think I can do that. And if we come to the dashboard between October 2024 and now, which is about what? Let's say 8 months, barely 8 months, we're up 23%. Like I said, it's insane. Yes, it is. I understand. And it's a fantastic return. We can't deny that. If we come back to the stats, you can see how the equity curve looks. And this is what I said about systems. You want to see how your equity curve is progressing. Okay, it's very important. It's like it's a non-negotiable. You can't do without it. You need to see how well you're performing, if you're making progress or not. It's so important. But yeah, this is how the return looks, right? I mean, so far so good. If I would bring this back to, let's see, so from the start with January 2024 up until now, we have returned almost 40% in closed trades. Of course, a lot of things have attributed to this return. First off, I only just added indices to my asset classes sometime in May of 2024. So, like I explained before, the first 5 months of 2024 indices, and that affected my returns, right? But either way, this is a return, and again, so far so good. This return is for about, let's say, uh, So January to December is 12 months, and now we have an extra, let's say an extra 6 months. So this is like a return for about 18 months. And is it good? Is it bad? Well, it depends on your objectives, it depends on what you're expecting out of trading. But I like to think that if you were managing a $500,000 account, you would have made almost $200,000 between January and now, June 2025. That is 40%. And I like to think that making $200,000 in 18 months is quite a deal. In fact, if you end up managing $500,000, if it was just 100K, whatever the case, it just helps you see that, yes, this is positive. It is a positive return. I've explained so many times, and I also want to do that again, that you see, sometimes people worry so much about performance. And I like to think it's a fallacy. We worry so much about performance that we don't realize that to a great extent, to make so much money in the market, you need so much money, or you need so much backing behind you. You need so much capital to make your returns worthwhile. We understand that most hedge funds do not risk so much. Their risk is very minimal, and they also don't look to return hundreds of thousands in terms of percentages, but they make so much money. Why is that the case? It is mainly because of how much capital that is backing them. And yeah, that is the game. It is really capital intensive, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so if 39% is small return for someone, then it means that maybe you're trading with as much capital as you should. So if your system has a positive return, if you can average 1 to 2% every month, remember that you are better than 90% of retail traders. So if you think about it, the struggle is to be profitable, right? So if you can return 1 to 2% while having a minimal drawdown, you are profitable. You may be where you want to be, but you're not in the same class with those who struggle with making consistent returns. But the problem is so many persons are not satisfied with they chase returns, they try to adjust their systems, make it to make so much more, and they begin to miss certain things, and then what we call it slim fitting, or what we say curve fitting. They try to curve their system in a way that some of the parameters they use in testing it, they might either have to adjust it too much or remove it entirely, and then the system starts to perform in a different manner than it originally would perform, right? So it's a problem. So if you can return 1 to 2%, that's consistent. Of course, there's room for improvement. Of course, that's true. But you want to bask in your achievements. You want to remember that you are not in the same class as the 90% who are not profitable. So please remember that when you have that in mind, it helps you approach trading in a different manner. And another thing I like to point out is that when you are consistent, the only thing you have to worry about, or the main focus, has to be your capital, right? You want to allow your capital to do the heavy lifting. Okay. For example, this is almost a 40% return, and it's just shy of 200K. Why? Because the capital behind this is $500,000. What if you're managing $1 million? This is almost $400,000. So you see, it makes sense based on how much you trade, based on how much capital you're working with. So when you see that your returns are consistent, you want to look to increase your capital so that if you're returning 20% at the end of the annual year, or 25%, it would mean so much to you based on how much you're trading. So keep your returns consistent, work on getting more capital, and then you see how less stressful, how easier it is to make money in the game. And yeah, I think I just wanted to explain that for a couple of minutes. So again, if you guys don't have any questions, then we can also move then to backtesting. That's all. All right. So in the absence of any questions, I think just then move on to back testing. Okay, so let me see. Hold on. So for some of us who are not here on Thursday, we kind of introduced a software that one can use to back test, and I'd like to pull that software up in a few minutes. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay, so can you guys see this other part of my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, see. All right, all right. So yes, once again, for those of us who are not here on Thursday, this is a software. It is called Traders Casa, and apparently it can be used to backtest your trade ideas and the systems you trade. And I want to show you guys how it works. I think we did that on Thursday, but let me just go over it the second time. Like, it makes sense. So this is pretty much how the dashboard will look after you've signed in. And sorry. So of course there are paid versions of this, and for the sake of the test, just use the free version. And it just hold on. Okay. So it gives us a little bit of analysis. So your best return in terms of percentage, the win rates, and the things like that. But then, of course, we'll come down to the back test, and these are some like supposed test sessions, right? So you can have as many test sessions as you want. I think I'm not sure, but let me give an let's go to. I think we're doing EU. This is what we did the last time. Or in fact, I think I'll just open up a new session just so that those who are not here can fully understand. Yes. So a new session. Session name can be, let's see, tests. Okay. And then you can proceed to put your starting balance, which ideally would be 100K. Then you can go on to select the pair you want to test. So let's say I was trying to do, all right, pound USD. Then you want to go, how far back do you want to take this, right? And let's say I want to go back to 2024 of January, on the 1st, right? So January 1st, 2024. And I'll click on save, and I think that takes us to a new session. Yeah, this guy. So you click on the play button, I guess, and it brings us in. All right. So one thing I have to point out, like I did last time, was that we cannot so we can use these icons, these buttons to move forward, okay? But I noticed that you cannot move forward if you're on the daily time frame. All right, so let's take that to heart. You cannot move forward, like you cannot use this. If you click on this, nothing happens from what I understood. So if you're trying to move forward, you want to scale down to the 4 hour time frame to move forward. If that makes sense. But then this brings us to the 1st of January 2024, and it supposedly takes you back to 2024, and then it's just asking a question: how would your system perform if you were trading in 2024? That's pretty much what you're trying to test, okay? And so let's just run a few examples. I don't want to do this for the sake of some of us who are not here. So I'm not going to draw killers or anything. I just want to do some random tests, okay, to show you guys how this works. Let me see. So if I was going to do this, for example, let's see. And let's see. Hold on. So up here, down here. All right, let's take this for example. So I'll come down to the 4-hour time frame now, and let's say I am looking to buy if price comes down to this zone, right? I want to buy this as a break and retest. So one thing to understand as you're testing is that you test something specific. Okay, for example, the systems you trade. Okay, if you're testing an entry pattern, be specific about it. If it's a 4-hour break and retest, go ahead and do that. So you don't want to come to a back testing session and then buy here and sell here and then sell here. So that way you're just doing random things. You're not testing out consistency on the pattern. Okay, and again, like I said, this back testing will open your eyes to the systems you trade and if really they are profitable, right? So let's see if we can do that. But of course, going with the example I was giving, if I'll play this now, let's see. Looking for evidence of support. Okay, we found that. So all right, good. So when this happens, you can come and click on the buy or sell icon, right? And if I will click on the buy icon, all right, so there's this two ads. It's something you cannot run away from. I think every 3-5 minutes you have to see 30 seconds, allow the ads to pass out, and then continue. I think it's just something you have to be okay with. Of course, unless you want to take on the active version. All right. So when this comes up, if I'm trying to buy, what I would do is this: I'll click on the buy the long position icon and set the trade exactly how I'm expecting it to either play out, or parameters and everything. Okay. Once I do this, this software allows you to actually run the trade. So let me give you an example. When this happens, and I want to actually run the trade, I will highlight this by clicking on it. So I'll click on this. As you can see, it's highlighted. I'll come up to open position. When you do that, all of the parameters are out. All the parameters come out. The stop loss, take profit, the risk, everything is here. All you have to then do is click on place trade. All right. So I'm just hoping this makes sense. So again, something like this. Okay. So if you come to open position without highlighting it, it would not work. You have to first of all highlight it and then come to open position and then click on place trade. Exactly. So you can see the entry, the take profit, the stop loss, everything is set. Then you now play the candle. Then you play it like this, or you whatever the case was. Let's see. All right. So for the sake of this example, the trade stops out. Okay. And yes, we move on. That's it. So you come back to the daily time frame, and I don't know whatever it is you're looking out for. So I'm just giving examples here. And let's say I plan to. So let's come back to 4 hours. Sorry, guys. Okay, so it seems like I need to adjust my internet connection because this is becoming too slow. Just hold up, guys. Okay, hold on. I'm not sure why this is not scaling down. I hope it's not a problem with the software. Let's try refreshing it. Let's see. Okay, where did we stop? Okay, so we're back here. Let me see. On the 4 hours, can we? All right, cool. That makes sense. So let's keep going. Let me see. Just this is some random things. Okay, and yeah, let's keep this here as well. All right, so we play candles. Let's see if we get any more trades. Nah, hold up. This is all right. Cool. Okay, so if I'll consider this another opportunity to get long, okay, I'll just get long here then, and then do the exact same thing, right? So of course, like I'm just doing random things, guys, just making sure we're on the same page. To show you guys how to use the software. Okay, so I'll highlight this and okay, hold up. Where do I want to take perfect? All right, just random. So I'll highlight this and then go to open position, click on place trade, and that's it. All I have to do now is just put the candles and see where it takes us. Okay, that played out right. Hold up. Oh, sorry. Wait, what? Hold up. Nah. Okay, no. Hold on. Let's take that back. Oh shit. Okay, rewind is a pro feature. Okay, but that played out, right? I'm sure that played out. I'm sure that played out. Uh, okay. Well, we can't go back. Okay, that's crazy. But was it like a glitch or something? I'm not sure why, but that played out. All right, I'm not gonna. But you guys are getting the point, right? We get the point. Let's move on. Let's go back to the daily time frame. Let's see. So okay, we're still like at the zone. Let's come back to the bar time frame. And I think if we retest it until time, I think we'll just get long again. Let's see. All right, hold up.
PC. I think you can use an ad blocker for this because I was watching it on YouTube. Some guys that were talking about trading Casa, they were using ad blocker.
Really? Okay. Well, I think that would help you guys because I'm not going to use this much. I already have like the premium version of TradingView. So if I want to back to ideally I will use that, not this. Okay. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is for those of us who do not have a premium version of TradingView and also who would need like stats on the back testing sessions, right? So yes, so I think we're here, Captain. If you can use ad blockers just in case you don't want this. You can use ad blockers. This is just for 30 seconds, but if you're not patient enough, then of course, go ahead and use ad blockers. Okay. But yeah, moving on. Let's see. Do we pull back? Yeah, we did. Hold up. We can't go back. That's the thing. That's the problem. Okay, we'll take it like this. Do we have the 1 to 2 somewhere here? All right, let me take it. Okay. Oh shit! No. Hold up. Let's highlight this. Open position, place trade, and yeah, let's see. Wow, interesting. Okay, so stops at equal time. Let's keep playing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So we buy again. So highlight this. So open position. Okay, that's great. Okay. Place trade. Let's see. I don't think we can add. Can we add positions? Can we add while the trade is running? I don't know. Is that possible? Let's check. I don't think that is possible. For those of us who might want to like scaling and things like that, let's just check if that's possible. So let's say we're trying to do this. Something like this. Click on this open position, place trade. Okay, you can actually. All right, that's interesting. Okay, I think that's an interesting feature. That's an interesting feature. Okay, so I think we're back to. Oh yeah, we're back. Hold up. Okay, so let's just come back here and take this instead. So I think right now we're down what 4%. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh. So yeah, once again, for I think what Captain said is really valid. For those of us who do this, please use an ad blocker. It just saves you the stress of um, saves you the stress of just having to wait for the app to come and go. Okay. Close. So let's see. Come down here. Take this. Open position. Place trade. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think this tick probably was like on the high side, wasn't it? I think it was. Hold up. Either ways, I think we get the point, right? Because this played out. Right? Now I'm gonna take a loss on this, I guess. Oh, shit! Wow. Oh, all right. So it played out eventually. All right, that's crazy. So we're now up what 5%. So again, you see, I'm doing random things, but it gives you an idea of, like I said, testing out the system. So for those of us who will use like higher time frame levels, you can go on the higher time frames, plot them, and then go down to the 4 hour time frame and then do this. Okay. If you were expecting a daily break and retest, of course, when you play on the 4 hour time frame, you have to go up to day time frame to confirm that and then come back. It's not the best, but I think we can make do with this. Okay. So I think that you guys get the idea. Okay, if I exit the session now, so I now have three different sessions, and I think this is now the best session because this used to be the best. But if I come back to the dashboard, yes, this is the best session. Win rate stays around 50%, and yeah, I think that's now there are no the analytics is not really open because it's not ad free, so there's no it will cost money to get that, but this is the best you can see. I think this is the best you can see, and that's about. These are all like template numbers, so you can't. This is not really important. So this is the best you can see right here and right here, and this is for like test 2. So you can now. Sorry, hold on. Wow, you can't even switch, can't you? Okay, well, that's crazy. But yeah, either way, I think we get the point. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on this? Any questions that if you have a question, just please go ahead. All right. So yes, in the absence of any questions, we got the point. We understand to some extent what backtesting looks like, and like I said on Thursday, I think it's important that every single one of us here that is trading actively, every single one of us who wants to make progress with trading needs to do this. It is a phase you have to pass. Testing your trades. You cannot. I don't think you can have confidence to speak about your system if you're not doing this. I did this, okay, in my early years, even in my recent years, I did this. Okay, of course, I didn't use the software, but like, you get what I'm trying to say. My point is, you have to test, okay? The system you're trading now, please just go back in time. Preferably, you can, some of us who are actively trading from like last year, you can go back to like 2021 and test until like 2023. That gives you an idea of how your system would have performed in those market conditions. Okay, and like I said, it would, I don't know, it would open your eyes to things you didn't know about the system, and yeah, it's a fun experience, I think. So please, it is imperative that we do it. Okay, it is important that we do it. It is for your progress, and remember, we're trying everything that would help you make progress, and this is one of the things. This is an important step you don't want to jump and get over. So please, if we can, let us go back and test. One of the reasons why I'm asking you to do this is because as time progresses, I would from time to time ask you to pull up your chart and let me see how your performance session went and your stats and things like that. So if you're not doing this, it will really affect your progress. Also, I'm also hoping that we're taking our trades in actual accounts, because from time to time, when we're back to reviewing our journals the second time, we need to see the accounts as well to see how really they're doing. So again, please, it is your responsibility to do these things, and if you do, trust me, you're going to make more progress. Okay, I'm just speaking from experience, and we're trying everything we can to help. And if you don't play your part, it'll be difficult, right? So it just means that you have to play your part. And of course, if you have any questions, just reach out to me on Discord or reach out to anybody on the team, and of course, we'll be there to help you. Okay. So since there are no questions, I think we can end the session here today pretty early. Yeah, I think we can do that, and I think I'll see you guys on Thursday. All right.
All right, thank you very much, Casey.
Of course, Carlos. Yeah, you guys take care, and please just get the name of the software is Traders Casa. So at your leisure time, you can just test. All right.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going about the ad slope, but I think Captain, I'll I'll hit you up on Discord for that. Thank you.
Okay, no
All
problem,
right.
Carlos.
All right. And that's it. All right, then. You guys have a wonderful evening and have a fantastic week. Okay. I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Of course, man. Anytime.